Bitcoin back above at 90,000. This is significant because I've been talking about a very likely bottom for Bitcoin, which is the driver of this crypto market. And this is why you should be paying attention to Bitcoin first. Because if Bitcoin has more room to pump, which I think it does, that's going to be very good for a lot of these altcoins. However, of course, there's still a risk that Bitcoin dumps, and that is going to drag down quite a bit of these altcoins. So, very important to be paying attention to Bitcoin, especially right now. We're going to be taking a look into a few altcoin setups later in this video, which would include Degen, Velo, and Mogcoin, which is the meme coin. See what's happening in some of these markets. I know that you guys have some requests for other coins in this market. Make sure to drop it in the comment section below. I will continue to pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis if enough of you guys want to see that particular coin. Now, I've been calling for a few bottoming signals here for Bitcoin, one of which is that Bitcoin is on the monthly 21 SMA, which is a huge moving average. Okay, this is the monthly 21 SMA, currently sitting at about $87,000, the blue line here. And why is this so significant? It's because Bitcoin has not been on this moving average since it broke above it. So during this entire uptrend here, it has not broken. It has not touched down to it as support. Okay, and when it broke above it, well, it was first back in October 2023. So it is a very strong support. When you hit a support or resistance for the first time, I would expect a very strong reaction. Now, is this going to be the bounce that is going to take Bitcoin to higher highs and, of course, crypto? That is something to actually be continuing to follow. Okay. Now, I can't guarantee that because I can only take it step by step, right? I can say that there's bottoming signals, but until we actually go and retest the highs, right, then I could say that I can't say, with more likelihood, right? We're going to have to wait until that happens. So this is basically what I'm seeing as one of the key bottoming signals for right now. Another one is that the Fed has the FOMC is looking very likely to be cutting rates for the next FOMC meeting on December 10th, which is huge because I've been saying that this rate cut cycle is going to be very good for the crypto bulls and risk on assets in general, like stocks, okay? Because the dollar is getting cheaper, right? And cheaper money into the markets are good. So let's go ahead and take a look into some news first. I'm going to be giving you guys my instant reaction to some news before diving into altcoin setups. This one is by Be In Crypto. What Bitcoin needs to do to get back to the 100K to 120K zone, Copper reveals. UK digital asset custodian Copper believes Bitcoin's month-long slide is approaching its final stage. Okay, that's pretty in line with what I'm thinking. With market dynamics now resembling late downtrend behaviors, the phase that historically precedes major reversals. Copper, the London-based institutional crypto custodian founded by former UK Chancellor Philip Hammond, said in its Wednesday opening bell, note that the mechanics driving Bitcoin's decline have changed. So I wonder what are some key points here, because he's not really getting into the key points quickly enough. Okay, ETF influence has collapsed, a key late downtrend signal. Okay, so it does talk about some indicators that I am not really too knowledgeable about. I'll tell you what I know and what I don't know. And what I know is technical analysis, okay? If you guys been watching my channel on a daily basis, you guys know that that's what I'm big on, okay? And I can tell you from the TA charts that there are quite a bit of bottoming signals here, including the daily RSI has been the lowest it's been since February. And when the RSI is that low, that tells me that the downside for Bitcoin is limited. Okay? And there's a lot more upside possibilities. Now, I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, and I am bullish on crypto in general. So, my opinions on these markets are bullish right now. And however, these are just my opinions and what I'm doing personally. It's not financial advice. You guys gotta form your own opinions and strategies. Alright, so let's see. Copper's analysis. Let's read a few more sentences here. Copper's analysis shows that when ETFs first push Bitcoin into a new ownership band, the next 10 days historically see 10 to 13% gains. The market adjusted the new level of institutional ownership during this period. So it does talk about a lot about institutional indicators, which, like I said, I'm not too knowledgeable about. I can tell you what I see on my technical analysis indicators. But if you guys want to read more into this, you guys can. It is in TradingView. I do have an affiliate link in the description section below. They do have free plans available, but if you guys switch to a paid plan, I will get a commission using my link. Next one is by The Block. Bitcoin is a strong relative buy with the sell-off nearly saturated. K33 says, Bitcoin's recent 36% downturn from all-time highs has pushed the market into what K33 describes as a sentiment-driven overshoot. So it sounds like an emotional move, with the research and brokerage firm arguing that the current dislocation is creating a compelling long-term entry point. So basically it's saying that Bitcoin is in a buy zone. What do you guys think? Right? We have a wide variety of opinions in the markets. I still see bearish opinions, which is fine. Everyone has their own opinions, but what I'm seeing here on the charts, I have my own as well. All right, let's go ahead and go to altcoins. We're going to be talking about Velo first and see what's happening with Velo. This is the weekly time frame for Velo. Let's take a look on the monthly time frame and see if this falling wedge was valid. This falling wedge, very hard to see, but it is valid on the monthly time frame as well. And we have a monthly candle close coming in about 4 days. Now, if you get a monthly candle close below this bottom trend line here, that will invalidate this falling. That would tell me that the falling wedge pattern here is going to be breaking down. Okay, if you get a solid monthly candle close, it's going to be pretty hard to see, but if you guys have this chart, you guys can zoom in on the monthly time frame. However, the monthly candle has not closed yet, so still have to assume that this falling wedge pattern is still valid. If the falling wedge pattern breaks out by, let's just say, this month, okay, let's just say by the end of this month, for example, the price target will still be about 4 cents price target, which is pretty huge for Velo. Now, price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. A lot of which does depend on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts dumping from here, that could invalidate a lot of these altcoin setups. Let's zoom in and see if I can get a more clear picture on what Velo is doing. Daily time frame. Falling wedge pattern. I talked about this last time. I talked about a smaller falling wedge pattern here that did get invalidated because it did break down. Now, falling wedges have a higher chance of breaking to the upside, but also have to mind the lower risk that they could still break down. We're all just talking about probabilities here. Now, this is a falling wedge pattern that is still valid if this is the 3-day time frame. If Velo breaks out by this point, for example, I'm going to put it maybe right here, okay, by the month end, okay. For example, price target would be about 1.2 cents price target. Let's see if Velo can break out of the smaller falling wedge pattern, hit that price target, and potentially go to the next bigger price target there. Let's go ahead and go to DGen and see what's happening with this coin. Talked about a falling wedge pattern that has been here for quite some time. Okay, we have recharted this pattern for quite a bit, but this is what it is right now. A falling wedge pattern on the weekly time frame. Price target, if it breaks out by this point, for example, price target would be about 0.6 cents for DGen, which is pretty big. Some resistances to be minding along the way if DGen does break out, including your weekly 21 SMA, the blue line, weekly 50 SMA. Those are going to be some key resistances to be paying attention to. Now, let's take a look into the falling wedge pattern here. And this is going to be the 3-day time frame. Okay, 3-day time frame, falling wedge pattern, a smaller one for DGen. Looks like it's trying to break out because this pattern here is basically running to the end already. Let's see if this breakout is going to be successful. If it is, the price target would be about 0.21 cents, okay? Which is pretty big for the smaller pattern. Let's see if it hits that price target before hitting the bigger one. We can come back to update on DGen. If you guys want to continue seeing any more of DGen, Velo, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. Let's go ahead and go to MogCoin, see what's happening with MogCoin. It's been running within a very tight range here. MogCoin here has broken out of this bigger falling wedge pattern here back in April. The breakout is still valid because the price action is technically still above the upper trend line of this pattern here. Now, it does also have bullish divergence on this weekly time frame. As you guys can see, we have one bottom here, second bottom here, and we have almost an equal bottom on the RS side. That is bullish divergence. That usually means there's going to be a bounce coming. Okay, likely a bounce coming. Now, this is also a smaller falling wedge pattern. Okay, this is also a smaller falling wedge pattern. And it could be much more clearly seen. Excuse me for the dog. Okay, it could be much more clearly seen on the 3-day time frame here. And it is running very tight within this falling wedge pattern. Price target is going to be about 5 zeros and 114. Okay, 5 zeros and 1 That's the price target for this smaller falling wedge pattern. Could this be seen as... So let's see if it hits that price target before hitting that bigger one. Also want to zoom out and see if we actually have a double bottom here. We also do have a double bottom here on this monthly time frame for MogCoin. So this could be pretty crazy. Okay. So this is a double bottom with a new price target of 5 zeros and 20. Okay. No, that's the resistance. Resistance is 5 zeros and 20. The price target would be 5 zeros and 38. So that is pretty crazy. A double bottom here. You don't have bullish divergence because we don't have enough data on the RSI on the monthly time frame, but that is a clear double bottom. So this is basically what I'm seeing for some of these coins here. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing Mog, DGen, Velo by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request due for you guys on a daily basis, and I'll see you on the next one.